is Mark,
And we are
the Redmonds.
Welcome to another episode of Meet the Redmonds. We are here talking about the part two to our last show, which is All Gospel All the Time. We're sitting in with one of our favorite people, Pastor Joseph Manaway, Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church here in Seattle, giving us the millennial perspective, taking it a little bit of a lighter turn on how we approach our Christian lives, particularly if you are in a couple situation, dating, maybe you are married for a while, maybe you're married for a long time. Where does gospel fit into your listening habits, into your watch habits? Is that what you do every day, all day? And does that make you love the Lord more?
Good points, good points. Also, we're going to kind of pick Pastor Manaway's brain, find out what's in his playlist, and just get a better understanding of biblically what the Bible has to say about music and dancing and all those things that you out there may have had questions with.
Or you've seen us do on some previous episodes of Meet the Redmonds, where you've seen us go to concerts. We've been to the Spinners. We've been where? Tell us more.
Spinners, the Delphonics, the Jonathan Butler.
So you know first from the things that we listed, we're a little old school, or at least as a couple, we're old school. What's on some of your playlists?
Well, like you said, the Spinners. Mighty love sometimes makes a weak man strong. Something like that.
Lord, we've got a lot.
I mean, I got the Spinners, the Whispers,
Uh-huh.
OJs, Delphonics, you name it. For you New Jack swing era people, I got some Guy,
Yes.
Keith Sweat.
I like. Yep. Uh-huh.
And on the Christian side, the gospel side, I got your Kirk Franklin, I got your Mississippi Mass Choir, I got your Thompson Community
The
Singers,
Tommies. Yes.
John P. Key. So we run the whole gambit.
We do. We do. Right now, I think at the top of my playlist is Maverick City and Kirk Franklin. Bless me that chant. Bless me thou indeed. But yep.
That's Donald Lawrence.
No.
He did do a song say "Bless Me."
He did.
Right.
Different song though.
Okay. So we want you to look at our book information at the bottom, redmondprojects.com. Go to this site, order our 2 award-winning books, Revelations of a Real Man or Woman, and our latest book, Finally I Do Again. You'll get to see more, you'll get to read more of our interactions as a married couple that got married later in life, and
Yep.
how we kind of intertwined our lives together. And music is a big part of it.
Including our playlist. There has been a time or two that Marcus called my playlist whack.
Yeah, it is whack. You got some easy listening on there sometimes.
He said he told y'all that I have Marilyn McCoo on my playlist. She is nowhere, and I love you, Marilyn. She is nowhere on my playlist.
What's wrong with Marilyn McCoo?
Love her.
One less bell to answer, one less egg to fry. The original version was done by Dionne Warwick.
Warwick, yes.
Right.
And since we've had this wonderful solo by my husband, we're going to move on into our episode. But no, Marilyn, she's not on my playlist. But could be anyone. There is some Dion on
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So all over the place in terms of what we like to listen to. Yes, we listen to the Lord as our main source of everything that we do. But as a couple, I don't whisper sweet nothings from Psalms to my husband.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
We'll be right
We're
back.
coming back, and when we come back, I may hit you with another musical selection. So watch this and be blessed.
It's all about heart posture. I would encourage any believer who's watching this and who's watching this live when this goes up or whenever, anyone listen to the replay or anything, to, Bible speaks about moderation, and kind of the theme of tonight of, of really knowing yourself and being mindful of what you ingest, because kind of like not kind of, what I mentioned earlier about Daniel 3 and the command of, the music from this king to engage in idol worship. God is a jealous God and doesn't want us to have any God besides him. And so many times we kind of mistake that as like something like a Nebuchadnezzar, like this big giant, 9 foot high, 9 foot wide statue. But anything that we yield to or obey more than we obey God, that is a God. And so like our music could be a God. James says in James chapter 3, he talks about the power of the tongue. And he talks about how a small spark can cause a whole forest fire. Such in the same way, the tongue is a small thing, but it can burn up a lot of stuff. And he talks about how an oar is a small part of a ship, but it can stir this huge ship. So does the tongue steer the heart. And he says that we put a bit in a horse's mouth, and to control the horse, and with that little bit can control this large beast. So does the tongue, control the soul. And a lot of times, we feel disconnected from God or from worship, whether it's in private or public worship in the sanctuary, or it doesn't really seem as enthusiastic or realistic or whatever. But this is what I've come to learn. Ever learning, never learn. This is what I'm learning. Ultimately, whatever has your conversation has your concentration. So whatever we say, whatever we are literally saying every day, whatever we're professing every day, usually has our conversation, usually has our concentration and our consecration. And so it kind of goes into the idea of our heart posture towards God, and how much we, engage and listen to the songs of old or hip hop of our day or whatever. And how does that balance up to how much we pray, how much we listen to gospel or whatever else? Today, it doesn't bother me or bother my faith at all, because I spend time with prayer, and I'm intentional about listening to gospel music. And it's always something. I was riding in the car today. This happened today. I was riding in the car today, and I had one of my alternative pop rock stations on or something. And I began to pray, and I think I was listening to Foreigner or Joe Cocker or Journey, one like 70s, 80s soft rock. And I said, nah, this can't be the background music. And I went to a worship playlist and played Israel Houghton, Alpha and Omega. And then I was like, all right, Lord, like I was saying, that just happened today when I was leaving the church. And because it's like in that moment, I felt conflicted with that being the background of me driving down the street and praying.
You got a little bit of musical history.
Man,
you spit out Joe Cocker.
I'm telling you, oh man, music history is my. If we don't believe in the multiplicities of lives, but if I had another life, I probably would come back as a music historian. Now, because I love all eras, all genres of music.
Now I'm gonna show you how cold I am, based off what Pastor said.
Yes.
Joe Cocker got a song called "Woman to Woman." You know who used that sample?
Oh, you're gonna tell me though.
Tupac.
Okay, which song?
California.
California Love.
So if you get a chance, you go back to Joe Cocker, you listen to "Woman to Woman," and that first beat line is don 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 don. Yep.
Music for California Love.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
So you didn't know I was that cold, did you?
I do know that.
My whole playlist has originals and the samples that were used for other songs.
Oh yeah, man, which is inexhaustible.
Right.
Like songs that, were like little Some of them were like almost less than half of a second, and they built the
Mhm.
whole
Yeah.
song around it.
Yeah.
You know, you could listen to classic R&B, classic pop, and listen to it and be like, she's singing Kanye West song. Like, no, Kanye took her song. You know, like
Right.
she sampled
Shaka
his song.
Khan through the fire.
Yeah. Through the wire, through the fire,
Yep.
same thing.
You
Yeah.
didn't know that, did you? Did you?
I
Well,
just told you I had the 100 thing to say. Yes.
Right.
but one more thing we're gonna ask you before we let you go, 'cause I know you want to watch some playoff basketball, so do I. Praise team versus choir.
Where do you stand,
Where do you
sir?
stand? And you have a unique perspective on it. Which do you
Praise,
prefer?
praise team versus choir.
Uh-huh.
I would like to preface my statement by saying that I am a church baby.
Mhm.
Like I'm a church baby all day. And I love choir music, man. And I think the reason why I would give choir the slight edge,
Mhm.
51-49, like a slight edge,
Okay.
is because for me, choir music gives us a appetizer of heaven. When you have so many people, you know, singing in rhythm and in tonality and in sonic relativity together, as one, singing together, rocking the same way, clapping the same way. It's like a little fragment of heaven broken off and placed in front of us. I do have an appreciation for the praise team, a huge appreciation for it, because when I was growing up, in the mid to late 90s and the 2000s, that's kind of like when there started to be a shift from, you know, the from devotion and choir to, you know, praise team ish. That's when like artists like when like Fred Hammond, you know, because Fred Hammond, when he first came out, Radical for Christ, it was like they sounded like a choir, but he was like solo. But it's
Right.
like
They
you
had
didn't
that
really know where to,
fullness, but different, right?
you didn't
I
really know
think
where to,
Kirk Franklin just took it to the next level with
like
praise.
Kirk Franklin, like it's a choir, but it's not, but
Right.
it's you know, when CC broke off from BB, when Israel came out, that really kind of like it. Israel was like too black for white churches, and his sound wasn't black enough for the black church, and so it's
Right.
like we didn't
Right.
really know where to sit him, and so it's like I grew up with both sounds, and I have an appreciation. I have an appreciation for both. I just love I love anthem music, whether it's choir music or worship music, songs where no matter how old you are, young you are, male, female, like you can have a part too, and you can sing it too, and I think that's why I give choir music the slight edge, because you know we had out soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, bass. You know, it was something for everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody could sing it together. So if
Well,
I
I'm glad
had to
you.
choose for the second conversation, I would give the slight
Slight,
edge to
slight
choir.
edge.
I mean, but then I was a choir director too. So I was a choir director before I was a preacher. So you know, I may
And
be a little
people,
biased.
we asked that question because actually, Pastor's answer is a lead into our next couple of episodes where we talk to a gospel DJ and we talk about praise teams versus traditional choirs, the pros, the cons, the likes, the the things that may need to change. So your answer was right on point.
So if you were building your playlist right now on the gospel side, and you were going to give it to perhaps someone who witnessed to someone.
Your top three.
Okay, witness was to someone that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
My top three. You only gave me three. That's
We'll let you go to 5.
We putting you on blast. Your top five.
okay. Artists right now.
Whatever you do, whatever you build
Oh man,
for
five
gospel.
is
Your top five.
dang man. Okay, so let me think about what I'm listening to right now.
Okay.
Um, Vincent Bohannon has a song called "I Love to Call Him,"
Mhm.
and where it's just like the refrain of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I love to call it Jesus. And I think that's, well, Apple says, according to Apple, that's the song that I've listened to most this year. So I would absolutely put that on there because it's like a hip song, it's high energy. It's a choir song, but it has like a new twist flavor to it.
Mhm.
Um,
That's one.
so that song, New Christians, I really appreciate um Chandler Moore and Maverick City.
Maverick City.
Their music is more communal. Um, and they're solid, especially if we talking about like for new Christians.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a younger Christian, I would have to put Lecrae on there. He's a Christian who raps. It's not Christian rap, but
Mm-hmm.
he's a Christian who raps.
Okay. You got two more.
Ty Tribbett's new record is A1. And what I love about Ty Tribbett is even going back to his early albums with GA, you listen to it and it's neo soul, it's like church, like Pentecostal black church. He has like a folk song, a bluegrass song, like it's literally like so many different sounds, but it all has the message of Christ. And I feel like anyone can find themselves, on that new Ty Tribbett album. The last one, what am I listening to right now? Probably Mike McClure Jr. I think Mike McClure Jr. He's really making a name for himself in the gospel music industry. He's a pastor who loved making music and just started kind of making music. Didn't really, think it was going to be anything. Now, like I think his first 5 songs have been #1 on the gospel Billboard charts.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was making it for new Christians to get them in the gospel, I was probably start with a playlist of those 5.
All right,
I mean, playlists are like my love language, so I make playlists. I don't know how many plays I've got on my phone, and
now I got to give you the flip side.
5 hours.
Your 5 secular songs.
Okay, we talking rap, soul, R&B.
Your top 5 that you got going right now.
That's hard to mix. Okay.
I will. Okay, right now, new.
It could be old school. It could be new school.
See, but that's a problem. Okay, so I'll just say my 5 favorite artists, regardless of genre.
Okay.
I have got to start with one of my favorite albums is the Live in Miami album by Sam Cooke. One of my all-time favorite. One of my all-time favorite albums.
Yes.
Live Again by BB King and Bobby Blue Bland. Another one of my favorite albums. That's the one where Let the Good Times Roll is the last track on the album. I love that. I would have to go Stevie Wonder. I would go Queen.
You have to remind my husband he is not a Stevie fan.
I do not like Stevie Wonder.
Oh wow, we gotta. I'm gonna have to do off the call when we log off of here.
Now, Queen has some hidden gems.
They do.
That a lot of people sleep on.
Queen, their song "Somebody to Love." Freddie Mercury wrote that for Aretha Franklin. He wrote that song. She inspired that song. And if you go back and listen to it, how he's playing the piano, how they singing all of that, it's like, oh, this could be Aretha Franklin song. One more. Dang, I would have to say either Jay-Z or Kanye. Kanye's first 3 albums were just, I mean, College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation. Those, I mean, that's like my era. I mean, but yeah, 5 is difficult for me just to name 5, man. I can name 5 per decade, I could. I mean, it's just music is, it's so robust and it's so much of a part of who I am. That's really, and I know we got to wrap up, but that's really what I thought I would be doing in the kingdom. I started directing choirs at 9 years old. And so what, 8 years before I started preaching, I was a choir director. And even after I was preaching, when I accepted my call, I was on the keyboard at TAF at church. And I thought that my call to preach was going to be me preaching once or twice a year, like any other associate, and just kind of helping dad. But like playing the piano and directing the choir was going to be my primary responsibility in the kingdom. So music is very, very, very near and dear to my heart, down to my first degree. I'm finishing my fourth in Jesus' name. But my first degree is in recording arts from Full Sail University.
Really?
So I'm telling you, I wanted to be a music producer. So it was just, and it was more so because of all the different sounds that I was exposed to. So we the church is in the city in the central district of Seattle. And it was, but this is before it was gentrified. But we grew up in Des Moines out by the airport, which if I saw a Black person in my class back then, they was my cousin for the rest of the school year. Because it wasn't a lot of us. So even like in that, I was exposed to so much. Like Foo Fighters and Nirvana and Blink 182 and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Linkin Park and all these groups, so it's like I'm just an amalgamation of so many different spaces. But what's cool is that there's not a table that I don't sit at that I don't feel comfortable at because of the umbrella and scope that I was raised under and exposed to. And I think music has a lot to do with that.
Well, I agree and concur with everything you said up until Stevie Wonder.
Man, Stevie, let me tell you something.
I'm not a Stevie Wonder.
I bet you, whether you know it or not, at least one or two of your favorite songs was written and produced by Stevie, and you don't know it. I bet you. Even the songs he didn't sing, the songs he wrote for other artists, I bet you. If you sit down and name your favorite 20 soul R&B songs, you gonna name at least 3 of Stevie's songs that he wrote.
I'm not a big fan. I don't know who he produced or wrote songs for, but the ones he sang, not a big fan of.
Man, you got it.
In the sky.
I can't stand Ribbon in the Sky.
I mean, singer-songwriters like Stevie, Marvin Gaye. Like Marvin Gaye, that if I had to name a 6, I love Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
I mentioned Sam Cooke, Freddie Mercury from Queen. You got we can keep Otis Redding. You got Sam and Dave.
Yeah.
Like all these guys who are singer-songwriters, who sung the songs, wrote the songs, produced the songs, like Isaac Hayes,
Yes.
I keep going, but I won't.
Well, we appreciate you. We got to sit down with you one day and just chop up some talk just dealing with music.
For sure.
We'll have you over to the rooftop.
Yeah.
I will be happy to come. You ain't never got to beg me to come to the rooftop. Just tell me when. I'm on the way.
You will enjoy it, man. You will enjoy it. We filmed the episode earlier, but we had to leave the rooftop because everybody and their mama up there now.
Wow. So the secret is out.
We had to come down to the rec room, but we appreciate you. We also appreciate our family for watching us. Again, our book information is at the bottom of the screen, RedmondProjects.com. You can get our 2 award-winning books, Meet the Redmonds.
Our award-winning book is not Meet the Redmonds.
Finally, I Do Again, and Revelations of a Real Man or Woman. And we're back. Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy our episode with Pastor Joseph Manaway, all gospel all the time. Yeah. And that episode title has a question mark at the end. You know, so
you lift your voice.
Yeah, all gospel all the time.
The answer is balance, people, balance. Everything in its season. If you're going and you know that it's been a while since you've checked in with the Lord, maybe you want to adjust your playlist. Maybe you want to bring in more things in terms of sermons, but create that balance for you. If you're a worship leader, most of your time is going to be spent listening to worship music or before the Lord. If you're a lay person in church, maybe it's a little more variety, but what has God placed on your heart to do?
Yeah, and I think this episode, since we're culminating our part 2, It's also a good prelude to next week's episode when we'll be talking to one of the world-renowned gospel disc jockeys, Marcella Jones, and her take on praise teams versus traditional choirs.
That also tells you how old we are because discs
Right.
not happening anymore. Very much an announcer, award-winning caliber announcer. It's going to be fun. So praise team versus choir.
All right. So we're gonna end this. I don't have a Christian corny joke today.
Next time.
Right. I'm gonna have one though. You know, I got a lot of flack for last week's joke,
You should have.
but it was funny.
I'm sure it made all the husbands feel very great. Wives, don't take it so seriously. Christians can laugh too.
Right. So we're gonna end this with our catchphrase. It's not her way.
It ain't his way.
It's the Redmond way. Peace and blessings.